Hello everyone, I'm Jenna. I'm with Emerging Destinations and we represent cool companies and cool places. And the other lovely lady that you see up there on your screen is Bianca, who is a partner's assistant at Bushwise. But before I introduce, or let her introduce Bushwise to you rather, I'm going to take a couple minutes to go over some housekeeping notes. So, as always, this webinar will be recorded, so if you do need to step up for any reason or get called away early, I will be sending it out to everybody in the webinar follow-up later this week. And also, if there's any questions that you have during Bianca's presentation, hopefully this isn't the first Emerging Destinations webinar that you've attended, but if it is, there's a GoToWebinar control panel located on the right-hand side of your screen where you can actually type through questions to us throughout her presentation. So feel free to stick anything in there, and I will ask them to Bianca at the end of today's presentation. Now, I think that's everything that I have to go over. I'm sure there's something I'm forgetting, but my name is Jen at emergingdestinations.com. And if you do have any questions about anything else in our portfolio, please feel free to reach out to me. My email address is jenna at emergingdestinations.com. So that should be simple enough. And you have hopefully heard from me before, and you'll be hearing from me in the webinar follow-up later. So on that note, I'm going to hand everything over to Bianca, who's going to introduce Bushwise to you for the first time. So over to you, Bianca.
Hi everyone, it's nice to have you as part of this webinar. So Bushwise is generally known as a field guiding campus. However, we have got a section of the business that looks at custom tailored experience for your general tourism. We offer immersive experiences. Sorry, quite nervous today. So we offer tailored immersive experiences where we get you off the vehicle and we get you in the bush tracking with the guides. You get to learn about medicinal uses with regards to plants and vegetation. You get to learn about spoors, so animal tracks, what each identification of the track looks like, as well as you get to experience, we do have the option on our 8-day itinerary where you do actually get to experience basically what rifle handling is and why it's important for guides to have a rifle on safari and what the protection methods of the rifle are. So I'm going to go through the slide that you see in front of you, and it will give you a brief overview of the programs that we offer, as well as what accommodation we offer and what is included in this experience. Sorry. So it's not just your regular safari. We do offer luxury accommodation.
Oh, there we go. No,
yes.
Sorry, it loaded. I think we just have a little bit of a delay, so it's loaded now. All good.
No worries. So it's not just your general bushwise safari. It's sorry, your regular safari. The difference between a bushwise safari and your normal 5-star lodge accommodation safari, with bushwise safaris, we offer a luxury accommodation. You get to see the Big Five as well. We do offer hands-on conservation experiences as an add-on. However, we generally have a lead time of 6 months in advance to booking the experience, just as we work with the reserves. So when the reserves do elephant collaring or rhino dehorning, they have a specific set time in the year where they actually have this done. So we generally just ask that we have a lead time of 6 months. You are led by an expert trainer guide, so someone that actually goes and does assessments of guides. So your level 1 guides, they are assessing them. So they are, I think, a level 4 guide that will be with you on your safari. You get to sleep out under the stars, a fully immersive experience in your sleeping bag in the wild. You learn how to do animal tracking. You learn wildlife behavior, how to notice when an elephant is not very happy that you're too close to it. You get astronomy lessons and you get the optional wildlife seminars that we do offer to guests as well, just to give you a more theory-based experience as well. Whereas your regular safari, you don't generally get the hands-on experience or led by an expert guide or the sleepouts. So that is more of what we offer at Bushwise than your general 5-star accommodation. We've got 3 reserves that we offer our high-end accommodations. We've got Makalali Private Game Reserve. So that is in part of the Greater Kruger, just off of Hoedspruit, leading towards the Limpopo area. It is about 8 hours drive from Johannesburg, but you can fly into Hoedspruit. We will collect you from Hoedspruit Airport and transfer you to the Makalali Private Game Reserve. The high-end accommodation that we offer is Shidulu Private Game Lodge. It is an exclusive game lodge, so you will book out the whole lodge. It is actually quite a pristine setting. As you walk into the lodge, you are greeted by the infinity pool over there. And just off of the infinity pool, you have what we like to call a dam. And you have hippos and crocodiles that are actually just lounging around in that dam. So it is quite beautiful. We can accommodate 12 guests in this lodge. There is a family room joined to the main lodge, and then there are 3 general suites. So you have your double bed, bath, shower in the general suites. Then we also do have a presidential suite that has an inside-outside shower, an outside deck lounging area, as well as your king-size bed in that room. There is Wi-Fi at the lodge in the main areas and in the guest rooms. You have a personal chef that will come and cook your dinner for you, so meals are included when you come here. There's obviously the beautiful Boma area where you'll sometimes have your Boma braais, and then there's also the fire pit area, which is in the front of the lodge there. Yeah, so there's just a basic overview of what that lodge offers. And we also have Solati Private Game Reserve. So that's just off of Makalali on the other side, the more northern side of the Greater Kruger. We also do offer transfers from Hoedspruit up to Solati, and then you could also take a transfer from OR Tambo as well. Nkua Wilderness Camp, this is a more intimate private camp. It's quite, I wouldn't say small, but it's not as big as Shidulu. It is also very, very beautiful. You will sleep in tented camps in this area. There is no air cons in the suites, but there is ceiling fans. So it does, in summer times, you've got the ceiling fan to help you out. And then the staff also do provide standing fans as well, just to create more circulation. This is a four safari tent camp. Each tent has got your own private viewing deck. We allow families, couples, or even a group. Each room has got your indoor and your outdoor showers, shared dining with majority of our accommodation. And then unfortunately with this camp, there is no Wi-Fi. You can pick up MTN signal, which is one of our local providers. You can pick up signal with MTN. We then have Madikwe Game Reserve. This is just off the Botswana border. So this is quite far away from where we normally offer our programs. Also just as beautiful reserve as the other 2. We do offer transfers and flights from OR Tambo. However, Madikwe has its own private airstrip. So we have partnered with Fed Air to help us with getting guests directly from OR Tambo to Madikwe's private airstrip, where you'll land right in the reserve. Their camp is called Buffalo Ridge Safari Lodge. This is quite a rustic, immersive camp, very beautiful as well. And it also, the views from the camp is just, extremely stunning. You have 8 luxury thatched chalets. Each one has its own private outdoor deck as well. Couples, families, and smaller groups we can accommodate. There is only one swimming pool in the main lodge area. And then there is shared dining in this lodge. The showers, you've only got your main room shower. And then just to cover a bit of the 8-day itinerary. So your first day would be your arrival away from home. So this is where you would get an introductory game drive after you've settled in to the new place that you're staying at. You get an introductory drive into the game reserve and the environment, and then as well as place camera traps around the reserve so that you would be able to see what animals frequent that location where you place your camera trap. Day 2 is normally our bird calls identification and conservation photography. So the morning you'll spend going out on game drive would be spent bird identification as well as identifying what calls belong to which bird. Afternoon, you would focus on your conservation photography. So this could be anything from rhino photography, lions, as well as just learning how to capture amazing photos in the golden hour of the day. Day 3 is tracking, trailing, and reading signs. So both game drives, morning and evening, you would likely get off the vehicle for about an hour or so and go into the bush thicket and do a bit of tracking and trailing. And you would also stop off to learn about the tracks and what each track looks like and how to identify each track. Day 4 is safety within the African bushveld and situational awareness. Your first activity, you would go to the local rifle range where the guide would explain how to operate the rifle, what safety measures are used when using your rifle, and when they would actually use the rifle. You would also have the opportunity to fire off a blank round at a mock charge lion simulation. Then the afternoon game drive would be focused on your more smaller unseen aspects of the bush. So anything from chameleons to bush babies to those smaller, not generally always seen when you're on a vehicle sort of animals. Day 5 is tree identification and sleeping under the stars. The morning you'll spend going out identifying trees and what medicinal purpose each tree has. So you could come across the knobthorn that you would generally use as your bush toothpick. You can also use the leaves as your bush toothbrush. Then you, in the early afternoon, so your lunch would be a bit earlier. Then early afternoon, you will leave camp on foot to do a guided bushwalk to your campsite where the participants will set up their own camp, prepare dinner alongside the guide, and then spend the evening in the bush. It's a great opportunity as well to have a look at the Milky Way and just experience the Milky Way where there is no light pollution. Day 6, we generally say is a game drive your way because it can quite get a bit when we have everything structured for you. So we generally ask you, would you like to just go on a general game drive? Is there any aspect or details that you want to focus more on? So it could be tracking and trailing that you want more focus on, tree identification. You just ask your guide and they will be glad to assist. Day 7 is a conservation focus. It's not as grand as the rhino dehorning, but it is doing brushback cleaning, removing alien invasive plants within the reserve, tracking and tracing snares within the reserve alongside the Bushwise team. And then your afternoon game drive would just be a more relaxed game drive where you can just take in the sights and the sounds of the bush. Day 8 is unfortunately departure day. You'll be woken up with your hot beverage, have either a game drive or a discussion on conservation ethics, and then you'll be brought back to camp where you'll have your last breakfast with us and then prepare to depart the camp of your choice. Included in the Bushwise programs is the conservation activities, guided drives, hikes, and walks, your experienced guide, accommodation, meals, pre-departure support, as well as 24-hour emergency desk support, and then your arrival and departure transfer. So that the arrival and departure transfer is from the airport closest to the reserve. So for Makalali and Salati, that would obviously be Hoedspruit Airport. If you want to transfer from OR Tambo, that would be at an additional rate. Not included in our package is obviously flights, visas, vaccines, medical insurance, travel insurance, personal belonging insurance, cancellation insurance, personal gear and kit, additional spending money, and then with so majority of our high ends, besides for Salati camp, we generally do include soft drinks and alcoholic beverages, where with Salati camp, we don't, that is excluded. And that is our product.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Bianca, for that introduction to Bushwise. Now, just a couple questions here. Is there a better time, specifically for the South African product, because that is mainly what you focus on today, is there a better time of year to try to avoid based on weather?
Not really. So obviously each season in South Africa brings its own joy. So winter season is the most amazing for game viewing because the bush is quite dry, it opens up quite a bit. So that's a more advantage to game viewing, where summertime, the bush is extremely beautiful, but very lush and overgrown. We do have our rainy period, which is now over this period, but you'll have maybe 2 days of rain and then the next week very sunny. So South Africa is one of those countries where all year round you can travel to.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much for that. Now, I know that you spoke a little bit about your guys' more immersive program, which is the Bushwise Experience, which includes a lot more, kind of on the ground experiences. Now, based on that, is there a minimum age limit that you guys have required for one of your custom programs?
Not necessarily. So we've had kids join us that are 4 years old, 3 years old. So what we do when it comes to the tracking and trailing, majority of our high-end camps have got fencing around them. So when we do the tracking and trailing, we actually have molds made for the younger children. And then we go and we place the molds in the the garden area of the camps, and then the guide will walk with the kids around the camp and track these tracks.
Okay, perfect. Let me see. I think that might be everything that we have for today. However, if anybody does have any additional questions for either myself or Bianca, please feel free to reach out to me, and I can connect you with Bianca directly if you do have a quote or anybody in mind of your clients that you think this might be a perfect experience for. Please don't hesitate to reach out to either one of us. And I will be doing a follow-up later this week, as I mentioned before. So if there is a part of this presentation that you missed by chance, then don't worry, I will be sending it out tomorrow, but Friday at the absolute latest. So if there's any questions that you think of or come up for either Bianca or myself, please feel free to send me an email. Again, it's jenna@emergingdestinations.com, and I'm more than happy to connect you directly with Bianca if it's something more specific for Bushwise. But I think that's everything for today. Thank you so much, Bianca, for your time. I know it's evening there for you, so we appreciate you taking time out of your personal time and joining us for today's presentation. So thank you so much, everybody, and have a wonderful afternoon. Oh,
Thank you.
Actually, I'm just realizing that I completely forgot to show the Bushwise video. So if anyone's still there, I'm going to do that now. That was my apologies. I was supposed to play it at the beginning. So I'm doing that now.
This is not an ordinary safari. You've done that. This is your invitation into a world few ever see. Get closer and discover the secrets of the wild alongside conservation experts. Gain an intimate understanding of wild animals and their behavior, and build a deeper connection with the natural world. Go further and venture off the beaten track, walking in the footsteps of experienced guides. Be at the heart of the action, on the front line of conservation activities and face-to-face with the Big Five. Experience deeper and immerse yourself in the sounds, smells, and sights of the bush. Track wildlife, sleep beneath the stars, and discover forgotten wonders, celestial skies, ancient landscapes, and the language of nature. An exclusive safari for the wild at heart. Bushwise. Out here, we escape the ordinary.
Okay. On that note, if anybody has any other questions for us, please feel free to reach out to me, but have a great day, and hopefully you learned a little bit more about Bushwise Exclusive. So thank you and have a good Wednesday.